assignments, duties, and responsibilities. And today, this is the part that nobody teaches, basically how people behave before something goes wrong and what to put in writing so an organization can act on it and resolve the problems. So today's session is it's truly for leaders, founders, entrepreneurs. We keep this and it will be free, and it is recorded, and within the portal you can always come back to it or get the blueprints or our downloadable materials from the community. Few things that I'm gonna be repeating at every session. So this session is recorded and broadcasted. If you speak or appear on a camera, you are consenting to that. Pure Expertz programs are private professional education, not accredited by any college, university, or accrediting body in the United States. Nothing here is legal, tax, medical, clinical, or investment advice. An offer of securities or a promise of any business or financial results. CAPS is a scientifically reliable behavioral framework, not a clinical or diagnostic instrument. We do not diagnose, we do not treat. Everything operates under the block by block AI Safety and Security Alliance standards, legal, ethical, moral. So let's talk about the readiness gap, and that's why the survey is important. So we can know how to close that gap for you, and that's always available. But let's talk about really what's going on in organizations currently. So confidence went up, and year by year, I think the confidence of business owners and leaders to leverage technology is going up. At this point, about 81% believe that AI can help achieve business goals, and this is about 10% up. But I think it's going really, really more exponentially, and I think most of the business owners will grasp it fully by the end of this year, or even earlier. So, but the gap is that only 27%, are talking about inside of the company, which I truly believe is gonna be changing also very, very quickly. The excuse, well, 35% still say they have no time to evaluate the pros and cons, unchanged in a year. And I hope that you are not working for those organizations, but if you do, please reach out. We really provide a great consultancy as far as that initial setup from that perspective. And the source is the WSI surveys and a lot of research. I am licensed independent consultant in a WSI network. So this is data that we have access to, and I am always willing to share it. So the gap, familiar is not the same as trained. So you might be saying, oh yeah, our employees are using something. What are they using? Do you have guardrails? But for the familiarity, about 60%, right now, yeah, I'm familiar because you've been using it probably for a year or two. Those that have been using the technology for even longer, they're coming up with the great ideas right now, and I love that time. It is just a simple training that you need to embed in your organization to ensure that all members of your team and your whole organization understands the opportunities and benefits. And training, that's where the training comes. So those are familiar people are completed no formal training at all. And I'm doing a formal and informal trainings. I do take private clients. I do take a longer term engagements. because now we do have a specific time for those blocks. But I will explain it about cohort creations, as that is going to be the most effective program that I can think of. So the boss is the least trained person in a building. You know what? I do have to agree. You know, the owners that are confident in AI, well, they're there, but owners that are formally trained, well, it's only about 40%. So everybody is coming up with their own solutions, possibly without the standards, possibly without the guardrails. I know that the legal research and development is always the most important. So if you want to connect with us, what research and development we're doing is really looking at the legislative process, because as a business owners, well, we need to be looking at it the most and the closest. I am expecting that that each state will have completely different regulations when it comes to the privacy and AI doing the work for others or instead of others, and that is still very, very important to achieve for everybody. So what I'm saying, that your team might be ahead of you, unsupervised, with no policy. So this is not a tooling problem. This is exposure to your organization. Yeah, and you are only as an AI enabled as your weakest department, right? So you can have the management fully leveraging it, but if you got HR and finance and accounting, they still doing stuff on a spreadsheet, and they not gonna change or use or leverage systems that each organization can now build custom systems. And that's what we really do with the AI arbitrage, because the tools and solutions that you can house inside of your facility can be revolutionary, and you really don't need to be, paying for the big SaaS packages or software packages. That's how we help business owners to have all those scaffolding built either on their computers or specifically in a sandboxed environment that make it all important and looking together from the HR and finance perspective, because that's where the problem is, right? Those that are making decisions, I don't want to use the AI sometimes, and that's the gap. So get to our short workshops, because those are gonna resolve those problems for you, but also get me talking with your teams, get me talking with your leadership team specifically about those gaps, and that's what we can accomplish right now, either virtually or I can travel and go to any organization right now. Your industry is already moving, right? Every industry is moving. So I'm definitely close to that real estate industry, because that's how I started with the automations and really marketing, sales. But pulling it all together, I see still the biggest opportunities from the marketing perspective, but really providing value and providing training to the communities, to your maybe employees, because I truly believe that workplace should be a tight niche community with the great mission statements, where the leaders are looking towards safety and security of their employees always. And legal services for sure. So if you are operating right now a law group or legal services, this is actually the community in a box product and the business in a box product that I'll explain briefly today would fit absolutely fantastically for your legal services business. Food and beverage, yeah, that's also where the biggest opportunities are, right? This is the automation, and we're seeing this happening quicker than I think everybody ever thought that it will take place this way. And I'm thrilled because I'm waiting for the robots, and I'll explain that when it comes to the home care and healthcare industry as well. All right, so this is it, right? The small organizations, 1 to 10 employees, 65 views, but in a corporations, well, it's becoming a standard because the business owners do understand it, but the gap is closing. If you want to close your gap much quicker with the solutions or some smart systems that we are building, this is the way to go. 3 questions, and this is the questions that I'm asking always when we go through the discovery session, and to ensure that that there is a full understanding of the principles and fully knowledgeable from the legal, ethical, and moral perspective. So, from the legal, whose data it is, right? You got your clients' records, employee files, health information. Depending what you do, if you do not email it to a stranger, well, do not paste it in your tool because if you using tools that you don't understand the source of, it is now almost like putting it on an open internet. So free tools may train on what you give them. So that is the difference. We went through that phase already. Yes, those models still gonna be learning, but now the paid ones and the really what is available from the higher level LLM practices, it's all getting combined, right? The deals are being made in organizations right now like crazy because of the continuity of the information. And that's why ChatGPT and Anthropic are really doing the same thing, slightly different, but those solutions are coming to become almost the same for all of those software pieces. And what we do, we really want you to do it in an ethical way. So would I say this out loud, right? I'm saying this out loud because I truly believe there's a difference. There is a conversion happening right now. And business owners and the families, frankly, who are not going to be looking into it or leaning into that technology will have, I think, hard time. And we're starting to see that as well. So who carries it if it's wrong, right? You always are responsible for human lives. If you are a business owner, that's the biggest responsibility for you. And you need to protect individuals. And it just happens to be that from the security and safety perspective, well, Dr. John will be able to explain fully the methodology, but I want you to think about it. This is a prevention. The same way as you need to close the gap in AI, there's just no other way but to get in a training mode and really discover and start doing and providing those resources to others. So why I do this in person and not from a slide. For me, the sharing information always requires communication. It's hard to do it through the TV, but it has been done through the TV for many years. I and Sal and Total Wellness TV, we're really inviting you to that conversation. The topic today is really well, it's really 30 years of my career
Sorry,
as well as a security professional. So I'll be happy to share some resources and some tips for business owners, HR leaders, how to specifically use that technology right now, along the way with the courses, workshops, and certification programs that can be easily customized to your business and opportunity. So the problem, generic training does not survive contact with your desk. We we set it up while you watch, and that is the most important. When you come for the discovery call, it is it for me process starts, because that's how my mind works as well. When I'm reaching out to somebody and I'm having conversation with the individual, well, I really want to help them. I want to be a competent and caring person towards them, because that helps to establish those relationships. And what you will own at the end, you will own the system, and not a subscription to me. The subscriptions are really for the education fully, but you will have your guardrails written down. You will have named owners of the policies, and you will know that somebody from your team will be also able to join our trainings and really show you how you can implement AI campus strategies or AI academy strategies within your organization. So the maturity ladder. And so let's close this fully. Find your rank honestly. So stage one, you are exploring, right? Everyone is curious, but nobody owns it. Nothing is written. If you're in that exploration phase, you are a little bit behind, but nothing is lost. That's why the 2026 is such a fantastic year from the opportunity perspective for the businesses, as well as business process improvement with the AI tools. Stage two, you are experimenting. So individuals using tools privately. So that's the threat for your organization. If you have employees using tools privately, no policy, no visibility, this is a real exposure that you need to close that gap. Number three, enabled. So training exists, guardrails exist, and the work has started to change shape. And what we are doing, we're going to give you that enablement, and we're going to give you empowerment. So empowered, basically everyone speaks the same language. Adoption compounds instead of resetting. Employees are receiving proper communication, proper training, and that's what we are setting up inside of the organizations. But almost almost very few businesses do that aspect right, because this should be taken as a complete change management. And if you tie it with some other programs in your organization, and for me, it goes hand in hand with safety and security programs. I know that's what I have been doing for quite a while, but the responsibilities were always different. And but the protection of human life and safety, ensuring that there are no injuries at the workplace, that is exactly how AI can enhance that. It still requires proper training and strategies that needs to be implemented in the organizations, as well as for the small business owners. So who is responsible for AI safety in your organization? I'm really asking this question to quite a few people right now, and that's how we spark the conversation. So ask if any organization with more than 10 people. So the honest answer is almost nobody specifically, unless you really spend a year or two with the proper budgeting and proper policy. So not because people are careless, because it was never assigned, and everyone assumed it belonged to someone else. That's the organizational structures. Gap one, no written policy. Stop, decide daily what data to paste. You cannot run the business this way. Gap two, no named owner. So authority and accountability still is required. Committees, if you run committees, you can really do accomplish quite a lot through the committee work, but you still need the chairman. You need somebody that will be pushing this forward. And now those committees can leverage all those great tools for the discussion as well as resolving problems. And the gap three is that there is no record, so nothing is evidenced, and what you cannot show later. So not it looks like you didn't work, right? Because the project went sideways, and you were not able to get to the savings, cost savings, or productivity improvement. Four ways this is already going wrong in many organizations. So the quiet bridge. So employee uses AI tool to process client data. No policy exists. No training was given. The company discovers the gap after the event, not before. And you are in a compliance problem. Community. For me, building the communities, I know it is going to be the most important thing. There's no way to build the communities without human inside them. We do have a lot of deepfake that worked, but from neighborhood association perspective, somebody can really change the direction of the community by providing deepfake information if something is not discovered very, very quickly. And from the civic perspective, you can really employ the systems to be looking at this at the human level and not anywhere else. For the family, I really want to ensure that everyone understands that it is a gap in education, but the changes are also taking place at the level of the generations. So the generational divide is becoming even bigger, but that's why we as leaders and individuals that went through this process in one organization or another, now we can repeat that, we can improve that process through the consultancy or through the proper certification programs. So governance without the education is policy theater. And when organizations can have a perfect AI use policy and still have every employee violating it, because the training that turns policy into behavior was never delivered. So that's why we are focused on a proper training, and that training is delivered through the alliance that builds the policies, the academy builds the capabilities, and neither work alone. So you're getting the systems, you're getting stuff that you can really deploy within 4 to 8 weeks period. So I mentioned I'm really looking at this. The gap is not the tools. So every organization has already access to the same technology. The difference between the ones getting value and the ones that not is to do with it, which tools they bought. And I think we're going through even more important changes that the tools can be created by the principals, can be created by the business owners right now. And that's the opportunity. The gap is education, consistency, and confidence. So people who do not know how to think with it will not use it. And people who use it without guardrails create the problem for the organizations that you will be cleaning up in several months, or it's going to take you to even bigger problems. So failure modes and how you will recognize them all. I've seen pilots as science projects. Something gets tried, it half works, and there is no path from there to the rest of the organization. Number two, what happens? There's no foundation. Teams are handled. Yeah, you got the tools. Yeah, buy this tool. Let's go. Without training. Although right now most of those software solutions, well, you can train yourself on it. That's why the gap is that self-training and self-improvement is hard to achieve in a workplace. That's why you need to provide that information and create a training environment that sticks, and the workflows are changing, because the problem number three is the workflow never changed, right? The same broken process, now faster. So it's really speeding up the bad process and just gets you to the wrong side sooner and the failures. So please be warned from that perspective. But if nobody owns the guardrails and there's no policy, no review, no record, I know that I'm not working with those organizations. We really want to make sure that your guardrails are set up properly, so you can move forward with your business. Tools do not transform organizations. I mentioned that, and it is up to the people. And I see you, Dr. John. I know that we still got a few minutes. So we're really going to start Dr. John's presentation at 2 p.m. It's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's why I'm saying people do make a difference. Tools do not transform organizations. When a team understands how to think, prompt, or actually talk to the agents or talk to the computer and work alongside it, adoption accelerates and the returns compounding. Without that, the best tool available can stagnate in a month, because employees will not going to go back to it. And from what I'm seeing, work requires a lot of specific motivation to actually go deep into it, right? You really need to understand how to leverage the technology. Guardrails, policies, and who does what. So policy, this is what is allowed, which tools for what work, with what data, named, not implied. Guardrails, what must never happen. So that's your client data, personal data, anything you could not explain to a regulator or maybe a family member. Ownership, who decides? One named person per decision. Committees do not own anything. I mentioned that this is a big change for the organizations to if you're running committees, the opportunities are great to streamline those operations. And every department, we can really talk about the department by department, but I always go back still to that change management to ensure that the leadership and the boardroom is fully educated about the threats and the opportunities, and really figuring out how to do it safely without jeopardizing anyone else's health and safety in the organization. Talking about the three laws, simple. I want everything to be legal, ethical, and moral. Nothing gets bypassed because of that. And I mentioned that I do that work through the license with WSI. So WSI is a large organization, and we do quite a few trainings. So let me actually, I wanted to open up that page, because it is actually resolving problems on its own as well. But you can just book a discovery call. That's the easiest way to do it. But this is the offering of the consulting practice. So three ways we help business owners get real about it. So it is that's what I like the most. It's AI strategy and roadmap development for the organizations. And then we do live training and cohorts. And then the biggest aspect is to get the ownership or business owners to that implementation, but as well as governance. So those are the conversations that we do with the organizations. We run live cohorts and with those real frameworks. What I'm telling you on over those 3 days is really tip of the iceberg, and because you can go much deeper with offerings and solutions that we provide. Sal, I think we're gonna go off in about 5 minutes, right? So we're gonna take a short break. I got two more slides, but I just want to go through this to this page fully. What is the difference for me? You know that $300. That's a 1 day live. This is more for like 101 people that are not ready to do 101. That's why I'm opening up the rooms for that conversation. And 2 day live cohort is also something that I can deliver right now, but it needs to be a cohort. It needs to be a really conversation, so we can compound the knowledge in that room and really get that effect of camaraderie when we go into the conversations and the trainings, so that adoption, you will get that adoption part very, very quickly, as it is the most important one. So there are different dates for the different trainings. And what I am doing internally within, right after this seminar and forum, anyone that's still gonna have the access link, the token link to the portal, well, I really invite you back to the open office hours during the week. On Tuesdays, we're gonna have two blocks that are always gonna be available between 2 and 4. Wednesday and Thursdays, the same thing. They're themed differently. For me, Tuesdays is really a day for the real estate professionals and really helping brokers, helping managing brokers to accomplish a cohesive training for their brokerage. Make your agents safe. So I definitely provide and blend into it a safety training with everything that we are doing. And then on Saturdays, the Saturdays are designed to be working rooms. So I understand that most of you are working during the week, and that's why I am also opening the Saturdays specifically to continue some conversations, because when we're gonna start the project, I want to make sure that the leaders and business owners understand that there is a always open room on any day of the week that you can ask questions and get resources. And we'll be doing this even more and repeating the forum that will be completely different, right? We did the first forum in May. The recordings are available in the portal right now. That was way more strategic information about for the business owners, how to leverage all those opportunities. And we got plenty of reports done, and there are other surveys here as well. But sign up for our newsletter if you are already in a portal. I will ensure that I'm good after this weekend. So I got 2 newsletters currently. I'm gonna be splitting slightly different, so we are targeting the right individuals that need those solutions. So the reports are fantastic. Please take time to read them, and what you would like to do through the consultancy practice. I am really building those cohorts to ensure that that I can stretch myself a little bit more. We'll be showing leaders how to build their basically clones and cloning the brain, cloning the video and audio, as this is probably the most attractive thing for those that are knowledge workers or providing training and an education. And I'm just gonna go. You know what, Sal? I'm not gonna leave this back at 2 o'clock. I'm just gonna go and leave this one for the survey. So that's so you can just keep it going while